Vacation, Laurie Kilmartin.
It's too hot. Hi, how are you?
I'm awful. How are you?
I went to your house and
Was
you didn't
that
have the
this
AC.
week?
That
I don't know
was
if that's this week.
It was this week because
Oh
your
my
AC
God.
wasn't on. Though 3 filters were going and a couple of fans, and I was like, "Is it electricity we're saving? What are we saving?" And,
I don't know.
But it was super warm and moist and humid, and then I drove down to San Diego, and everyone's like, "There's a hurricane," and I was like, "It's raining. Is that the hurricane?" And they're like,
Right.
"Yes, that's the hurricane." And I was like, "Okay."
I guess I don't know, was a hurricane off the coast, or are hurricanes not that bad and those pussies in Florida have been milking it for all these years? That's what I want to know.
Yeah, I like that idea. Those
Oh.
pussies in Florida.
So
Yeah.
did you do the resorts that
I did. I did the
kibbles and
Kimberly
bits?
Hume, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
And she's a delight.
Yep.
She was super nice. The room itself is a ballroom where comedy was meant to be performed. Always 40 chairs, and one of those foldable stages that you put up.
Right.
They made it look as nice as they could, and that resort is very beautiful, and it was super nice. And I stayed overnight and drove back, but I had to go. Went to a wake yesterday, and friend passed away, and that's just gonna speed right up. Looking forward to that.
More of our friends are gonna die.
Yeah. It's the time is tick-tock.
Sure.
But it was actually it was a lot of driving and then socializing and then focused listening and some sadness, and then coming home. And I recorded the Dork Forest after the show on Saturday night.
You must be exhausted. I mean, in San Diego?
Yeah, because I didn't have one for Tuesday, and I was like, I need. And so Matt was he was one of the guys that opened for me, one of the people who opened for me, and he was the one that was first there, and he said that he lived 2 miles away, and I said, so if we could do a Zoom after this and talk about something you like. And he was like, what do you mean? And then so we talked, and I was so exhausted. I kind of ran out of steam a little bit. It's a great episode, you guys, dorkforest.com. Anyway, hilariously, he's been emailing me and texting me going, oh my God, I forgot to mention I love to bake. Oh my God, I forgot to tell you that and I was like, yeah, too late.
Well, no, it sounds like you get 2 more for the can pretty soon. I mean,
right. Yeah.
You're always on the hunt.
I am always on. The thing is that I have a list as long as my arm of people in the email, and I just haven't. Sometimes I'm like, who's sitting next to me?
Right.
Which is how bookers book stand-up comics, which is why we all have to hang out more.
You're right. I'm sure that's how HBO specials get sometimes booked as well, or late night shows. Oh, there you are. Hey, someone just canceled. You stopped by.
Right. So I'm going to put this hot goss.
She's typing, guys. It's very exciting.
And I know somebody who works there.
What?
I know. Famous friend with brand new hour, been working on it for 3 years, and they passed. And I don't know if it's because of if that's true. Like, I literally want to call my one connection at the HBO, Netflix, Showtime, my one and say, are you sure? Is it her manager? What are you?
Did they present a full a full special that all Netflix had to do was like put their name on it, or is it something?
No, it would be one that they would have to film and record, of course.
Damn.
But they're still buying them. They're still producing them. Yeah. As is HBO. So
yeah,
and
they are
Showtime and Netflix, and all of them are still all making specials. So, but I thought, hey, meddler, maybe you don't email somebody out of the blue and say, what do you think about this comic? Because I mean, I don't have a new hour. That's my thing. I blew my wad on a thing that's available on YouTube and only on YouTube.
I know, it's so annoying, but like, what are you supposed to do? Just not put out any material,
I can't keep doing the same material. I can't.
No, it's just
I get
like
tired.
There's certain comics that get picked to. Everyone can release an hour.
Yeah.
You either get to pay for it yourself and be out $35,000, or you get to be paid for it. That's the only difference. And it's so frustrating to go, oh, I guess I'm the one that has to pay for it. Oh, all right. How did I fall on this side of the line?
Mm-hmm. Right.
I have my ideas. I have my theories.
You got a theory? All right. Yeah. It's but I am my new stuff is coming along. So what I did this week was I opened for Bamford on Thursday at the Flappers.
Oh, fun.
And it was a mess because I decided to just do new material, just do the stuff, none of it that was on the album. And some of it's together, some of it's real loosey-goosey, some of it's just a premise. Working on a premise, the difference between love and like. And it's a weird
you
premise.
are. Okay.
I am. Yeah, okay. I am. But where you want to work on that premise? In front of the Bamford audience. Because the Bamford audience is on board. I mean, my audience is very, very nice as well, but there aren't as many of them as the Maria Bamford fan base. And so it was a room full of people who came up to me because I didn't feel like it went very well. And many of them came up to me and drove by me as I walked to Ashley Furniture, saying,
I hate that.
Great set. They yelled from there. It's the best cat calls ever. So Maria's set was amazing. It was she was literally, I could tell she was having a really good time. So that was super fun to watch. And her ayahuasca bit always makes me just happy.
God, I want to do ayahuasca. I kept trying and things would happen. And now it's like, I can't do it. We started up the school year again, but someone's got to help me. Someone's got to take me out.
Mike Kaplan did a Dork Forest about ayahuasca.
Okay.
He does it every month.
Wow.
Damn.
That's a lot of vomit bags,
he said he didn't throw up.
Really?
No, he's probably has a tolerance for it now, but but I guess he sees a dragon, or he gets information from the eagle every time. And I don't know if he's still doing it, but he was very funny. He was like, you could do it. It wouldn't, it would be fine. And I was like, how much I want to check out for 4 hours is a sign that I shouldn't do it. Because I would want to do it every month. So if not every day.
Sure.
But it's like $300, I guess.
It's expensive. There was one out here I was supposed to do twice, and it was like in the $800 or $900 range.
And it fell through?
Yeah. I think both times the person moved the weekend, and I'm like, well, I'm booked that weekend. I can't do it now.
Yeah.
Whatever. I have such a huge list of when my son graduates from high school of just laws I'm going to break and norms I'm going to violate. I mean, it's going to be awesome. But
that is awesome.
I'm still locked in for like 2.5 more years. Mike, oh my God, so I have to say this like cryptically, but I am on my 3rd week of writing very intensely.
Right, because you're trying to get work.
To the point where I'm getting headaches and I can't sleep. I'm on adrenaline and I just don't feel well. It's almost over, but it keeps like I had turned in one. Okay. So I turned in the second thing on Labor Day.
Yep.
And I was like, I'm free. I'm so tired. I don't want to, I'm just free. I was so excited to just do nothing all week. And then like 2 hours later, it was like, here's notes. They're due on Monday, go. And it's like, fuck. Okay. So that happened. My kid my son fell on his hand, and for a second we thought like there was a broken bone and stuff. That was just like this extra side thing that was happening while I was just trying to work on stuff, and I didn't want to care for him. I didn't want to take him to the ER. I just didn't want to do anything. And then Queen Elizabeth died. And then that was one of the greatest days of my life on Twitter. It was so fun, but I couldn't work on anything because I'm like, Queen Elizabeth died, and I couldn't stop tweeting. And my kid had to make his own breakfast with like a hand and a splint, because I'm like, I don't have time for this. I mean, I gotta get these tweets out immediately.
Right. These are TikTok. I saw a really funny one that said one was I can't believe a man is going to be the queen now. Yeah, that made me laugh. And then the other one was, it's going to be weird having a king instead of a queen, because the queen used to be able to just go the whole length of the board, and now it's just going to be one step at a time. It's a nice chess joke.
Sure. I'm on Twitter, and I see a story that like a royal family tweet, by the royal family. Right. And it was removed. Like I couldn't see it. I'm like, that's weird. They deleted a tweet. So I clicked on it, and I was blocked by the royal family.
Kilmartin has been blocked by the royal family. I was like,
that is
you didn't
bizarro.
Even, you said you've not even tagged them.
I didn't tag them. By the way, as a child growing up with Princess Diana, or a teen, I fucking love the royal family. How dare they block me? I've defended them unnecessarily. Right. The more you read more about empire and British Empire, like, oh, all right. But, in the Diana years, it was just, a celebrity thing. But yeah, that was crazy.
That is crazy. Are you still blocked?
Yes, I guess. I don't know. I haven't clicked again, but I don't know why I wouldn't be. But it's like, I didn't tweet anything that bad. I wasn't that cruel. Just jokes,
right. Just jokes. That's what we all say. And then all of a sudden we're doing stadiums. So I see you're doing the you and Kyle are both doing Rip Bodice this week.
Oh yeah.
I am not. I'm doing something on York.
Okay.
Over in Eagle Rock, but I'm doing the Dirty Bookstore, doing the Pleasure Chest.
Yeah. I love it.
I'm doing the Improv Lab Mermaid Show Monday night tonight.
I just did the lab, and it was a lot of fun. It's salty AF, salty as fuck.
Yep.
And it was fun. Yeah, I did a little, just kind of like little shows all week. I did Don't Tell Comedy at a like a CrossFit kind of fitness center in Thousand Oaks.
Really? That's awesome.
Yeah. Just a little, the LA sets that are
that's what I got
in these niche places.
There's a hat store. There's I just got asked to do one of those booby trap shows where you do 4 minutes.
Oh yeah, Scott Neary's thing. Yeah.
I can't find parking for 4 minutes. But it pays.
I know.
But I don't care. I can't do it. I'm like, I know that I'm missing out on seeing someone on stilts recite poetry, but I can't. He
has a ton of circus acts, and he has people that are like hanging from ceilings and stuff. I'm doing cool stuff, but 4 minutes is not even like a late night set is 5. So it is it's not even like you're practicing that, but it is. It's cool and weird, I guess, but you gotta want to drive.
I gotta want it, and I can't. I don't want anything right now.
I started using the AC later this week. Just unbearable,
Yeah. Got to do it. Chris likes she likes the AC. She likes the house at 85.
Oh God, no!
We can't do it. It's at 78.
You guys get her some sweaters or something?
No, she's got sweaters. I was like, wear a hat. 80% of your body heat goes out through your head.
Wow.
And then, so we're just, I get in the car and I just crank the AC, and I'm like,
Are you just leaving the house to get in the car and drive in cool, a cool vehicle?
Just for something. It was nice when it was raining in San Diego yesterday as I walked from my building to the ballroom building.
Yeah.
And then the next morning I went to breakfast somewhere with some friends in San Diego, and it was raining, just sort of like sunshine rain. And it was actually really nice.
Mm-hmm.
I like it. It was lovely.
Yeah, I like the rain too. There's no complaint about rain ever for this native Californian.
Right.
I haven't watched Gutsy yet. I guess it started. Someone said they watched it and they liked it. It's the Hillary Clinton thing.
Oh, right. The thing you're on. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's, so you haven't watched any of the episodes? Are they all up? Is your episode
I think
up?
so. Yeah, mine is up.
Episode 6, right?
Episode 6 it's the comedy episode. I haven't watched it.
Awesome.
I heard some of the COVID jokes are up, and the Anne Frank joke, which has already been up. I'm like, I didn't burn much material because it was awesome. Basically they took
some topical and then an older one.
They took some of my mom's stuff and stuff that I had already done on Corden. So it's like, all right, that's cool.
That is cool.
But I haven't watched it, and I don't know if I will. I guess we gotta caption it and put it on TikTok.
I guess, right? It's did you see like the one that it's so funny? I've been getting some comments when I reposted your thing.
Yeah.
So now it has like something like it has like 1 million views. I can't, but I keep getting these.
Mine has 1 million views.
Well, let me double check and make sure I know how many. Where is it? Come here. I've been posting some of the Jed clips. Where are you? Oh, I know why. Because I couldn't post it as a reel for some reason. And what shows? What other shows do you have this week? As I look for your thing.
Oh, I see. Jackie, I don't know
almost 90,000. Almost 90,000. 89,643. And I delete I delete all negative comments.
Wait, were there negative comments?
Yeah, there were people like cops are heroes, and you're like,
that joke. I see.
Yeah,
wow, how come they don't show up to me as that many views? I mean, is it because it's from your Instagram, or
maybe because I just reposted it on my Instagram. Yeah, it's but somebody else just did like smiley face, middle finger, and a pig. So so you're getting it from both sides. People love it, and somebody wrote, "Who needs 23andMe when you got cops?" And so
I don't know that I get that.
To find out if he's, because the joke is
I know the joke. Like, for my kid. Okay.
Yeah, for your kid.
Gotcha. So yeah, how many followers do you have on Instagram?
Yeah, that's gone up too, but I don't know. Let me see. 37,000.
Wow, Jackie, you're just killing the video game right now.
I'm doing okay on the video game. I wonder if it will ever matter. It might matter. I mean, it is nice to get, and the thing is triaging the comments it's actually quite satisfying to delete negative comments.
Really?
Yeah, because I
like to argue with them.
Yeah, so sometimes I've tried, but here's the thing: is if someone said that to me in real life, I would walk away. I'm like, oh well, then
is that your bar?
That's the bar. That's the bar. It's like if I wouldn't listen to you say it to me in real life, why on earth would I leave it on something that's on mine?
Yeah.
You know, I mean, the stuff that's on 800 Proud Gorilla, if somebody puts a negative comment, I guess it stays, right? Or the James Corden or some other set. I'd never look at the comments for other posts. Sometimes I get Andy to look at them, just to see if there's any that are super bad. But I'm getting on TikTok, I get a fair number of, she looks like Sally Jesse Raphael.
Oh my God.
I know. I just delete those because I'm not flattered. So
yeah.
Yeah. So
And is Sally Jesse Raphael, like, that's such a
very
reference
specific.
from the 90s. Yeah. I didn't realize anyone on TikTok knew who Sally Jesse Raphael was.
Right.
And
right.
And why did we memorize that name? There's so much happening in that name. Why did we all go out of our way to work on it so we got it right? She wasn't that great.
I have to tell you something. You know how I have that face thing where I never recognize people?
Oh, I'm working on a bit, by the way, about how face blindness doesn't exist. I hope we can continue our podcast, just so you know.
As I said, it's either that or self-absorption. Because so I see Kimberly Clark, stand-up comic, former comic of the week, very funny. Keep forgetting whether it was inadvertent or not inadvertent, the naming of her after a paper company, but she usually makes a joke about it.
Yeah.
And so I see her, she's wearing a mask, her hair is up, and we say hi to each other, and I'm like, oh, are you doing the audio tonight you're the new engineer? And she's like, did you just mistake me for Kiki, the new sound engineer here at the Flappers? Did you just confuse your black girls? And I said, sure did. Take me to town. Do whatever you need to do to make this right. And then we had a long conversation about how I don't recognize anybody. And I was telling her about how I have 600 slots. And I kind of want to do a bit about this, but is the fact that some of those slots, like I could picture people that are dead. Clean that up, brain. Those slots should be open right now.
Yeah,
I should
be
able to.
Yes,
I should be able to slide somebody in.
You should put Kimberly Clark in Greg Giraldo's place right now.
Exactly.
Rest in peace,
right?
Greg. We love you and miss you.
Exactly. There's absolutely no reason why I should be able to picture any number of dead people. And when I need some live people to be yeah, so that happened. That was what happened one night at Flappers. I went there to hang out, and for some reason, Craig Robinson has the slot in my brain.
Well,
he's
why
famous.
wouldn't he? Why wouldn't he?
Well, it's because I featured for him in the late '90s, middle '90s, at Knuckleheads at the Mall of America.
Yeah.
And he blew my mind. He was amazing, and in the way. I mean, his stand-up was very funny, obviously, but the way he handled the crowd, because it was a New Year's week, and I might have told you this story before, but somebody threw up New Year's Eve, second row, and he just kind of moved his like piano thing back a couple of feet and was like, clean up an aisle, whatever, and then finished his set. It was awesome.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
What a hero.
Yeah, dude was
that smell is horrific.
It's really bad.
Not a lot. There's some things I don't think I can overcome, and that, like visual and oral nausea and vomit right up front would be a tough one.
Yeah, that would be the one. But so he was playing in the main room.
Nasal, not oral. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Eric Griffin. It was an Eric Griffin and Friends kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
And I saw Eric Griffin.
Yeah, he does the and Friends a lot.
Okay. And so I had a hard time picturing him until I saw him, and then I was like, oh, that guy. And then I had gotten a work in on the Yoo-Hoo room and got to meet a bunch of people, but that was Tuesday. And I tried some of the new stuff. Some of the new stuff could really use, I'm going to say it out loud, a couple more punchlines. Yeah, some of the new stuff could really use a nice button punchline right there at the end. Let's clean that up. Let's call it a done. A done.
Yeah, I have one that ends. It needs one more ending thing to get out of it, and the thing I have sort of is like a moth story like ending, which isn't that funny.
Right. Right. Fair enough. You're like, and then we all learned, or whatever.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't have anything brand new, more tweaks on newer things, more editing. But I do have a lot of I do have a lot of jokes from the last now 3 weeks that are topical and growing more unusual by the day.
Right, you've got dozens of those. Kimberly Hume, we were talking about, she has a premise that she was doing this joke and then somebody else had a premise that was like it, but her punchline went in a different direction.
Mm-hmm.
And she was like, so I stopped doing it. And I was like, nope, everybody gets to share premises unless it's close. Unless you don't want to, you think it's boring.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know what it is. I don't know what the two things are, but if you start to build out your different one, then it just gets, it gets carried away in another direction after a while,
Right. It was like, you remember that old the cat ophthalmologist joke, my LA pet joke?
Yeah.
Whatever. But there was a line in it. It's a 3.5 minute bit, and there's a line in it that was it was $3,000 for diabetic cat medicine, and that's 3,000 cats. That's 3,000 new cats, which is the obvious punchline when you look at it in retrospect. So I did it. It was on the Bread album, I think, and then I was still doing it. This had to be 10 years ago, 10, 12 years ago. I was still doing the bit. It was my closer for a long time, and I went up at the Improv and I did it, and then Tom Papa went up right after me. And he murdered, except for he had a joke about how his cat had diabetes and it was $3,000 for diabetic cat medicine, which is 3,000 new cats. Dead silence, crickets. And then he comes back and murders at the end. He gets off stage and I said, you know why that joke didn't work? You weren't in the room. I did the exact same joke. And he was like, it just happened. And I said, yeah, it happened to me 5 years ago. Happened to my friend Anna. And he was like, oh. And then weirdly enough, he still put it on a special. I thought that was weird. I mean, it didn't matter. It was over for me anyway.
Right. Yeah.
And it was a throwaway line in the middle of a 3.5 minute bit,
Yeah.
So, but I thought it was an interesting choice on his part because I said, it's on my album,
Yeah. Huh.
But he may not have heard me, right? He may have just been like, in his head going,
yeah.
Well, it did just happen to me. And so, I mean, there's all this, what constitutes, I know that spoken giants, is that what it is? Would like us all to own our lyrics. But
I'm not against that. I'm just, I just against the retribution that's coming for people that are asking for that money, and I didn't expect it, and it's got to end, please. The financial retribution.
Yeah. What is it, the 11th that we're doing this?
Yes, it's September 11th. Why does that date feel so familiar to me?
It is weird. Well, it's Steve Renna's Easy Day, and
I hope he's doing okay.
I hope he is okay. I hope he's doing just fine. And but I'm looking forward to going up this week though, because it's a bunch of LA sets in weird, just sort of 10-minute, 12-minute sets where you can really work on stuff. That Rip Bada show is really good. I wonder if I can get in on it after my York or before my York. Dash off to Majorca. That's fun for me to say. Okay.
I can't think of anything besides my new deadline, which is in
11 hours.
It's 18 hours. Because it's weird because I keep going, all right, this is all finished. It's perfect. And then I reread, I'm like, wait, does that work? And then I take the whole thing apart and I'm like, oh, it doesn't. Or maybe it does. I don't know. I'm like getting to the point where I can't, I'm like, I got to trust my first instinct. If I thought this worked for 3 days straight and now I'm looking at it and I think it doesn't, or am I right now? I don't really know. It's like, one thing about doing this podcast today is like, all right, this is giving my brain a rest for an hour and I can read again later today.
Yep. Right. It pulls you out for a second. Hey, did we ever do Comic of the Week or a break or?
We were actually just about to go to break.
Oh, I love that.
All right.
And now let's do the comic of the week.
Comic of the week is Avra Friedman.
Avra Friedman.
Avra Fried, Friedman. That's her Twitter handle. Very funny. I just worked with her at Salty as Fuck.
Oh, that's awesome.
I think last night or 2 nights ago at the lab, and she's very funny and sly. And
I love that. I love that.
Yes. Yeah.
I love a lateral joke.
Yes. Well, they all seem to come around and curl around you, and she's a lot of fun to watch.
Yay! Avra Friedman, find her. Mm-hmm. You guys can do it. Cool. Yeah, I was just, what made me think of it was how you were talking about taking apart the jokes and putting them back together. You're really good at that. It's amazing. You take a lap. I'm going to talk about how great you are.
Okay.
Like the surgical, you're like, you see the different parts. It's like diagramming a sentence, and it's really fun to watch. Yeah.
Yeah, I guess so. I don't know. That's what we used to do with Conan all the time. So, but oh my God.
I mean, that's the gig, right? So, and it's a learned skill, but it seems like that groove is, it's once you learn it, it's a really cool thing to watch someone do. So,
well, yeah, but how do you, I don't know. You're not, I guess so. To me, it's just like, it's, right. I have so many fucking Google docs open with pieces all over the place. It's a total disorganized mess. And I have to like cinch it all up. I'm also going to the Dynasty tonight because Julie Seabaugh is having, she's airing, or they're going to show too soon the 9/11 doc that she did. With comics who did 9/11 jokes or just talking about doing comedy on 9/11 or who lived in New York or whatever. So I'm just appearing there early on, and then I'm not going to stay, and then I come back here and pace the floors. I've just been like, my son's like, I'm not talking, he's like moving around me warily because I just keep walking around the house and repeating things and like reading jokes and repeating them and
that's cool that he's got that training to not interrupt the train of thought. That's kind of cool.
Well, I mean, he's never been home for it, and and also I do feel like I'm going mad, and I just need to click send and move on.
Yeah. I have an idea for a novel.
Yeah.
Yeah, which is amazing since I want to write one, but I've never had an idea. So, It's
so fucking hard to write a novel.
Yeah. Yeah. And well, I heard an interview with that guy, Richard Osman, the comic from UK who wrote the Thursday Murder Club novels.
Yeah.
And, just in passing, he just goes, I wanted to write something I wanted to read.
Yeah.
And I'm like, right. I don't need to write the Great American Novel. I hate the Great American Novel. I don't want to read that. That's a dense, sad sack version of whatever, I want to read a nice story.
Yeah, I understand. It's like, it's whatever you feel with a joke that's not working, multiply it by 300 pages. That's been my experience, But
I bet.
Yeah, I don't know. I'll be so happy 24 hours from now.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Unless you move on and they say, all right, here's the notes.
Hurry up.
Next round. And so I'm doing Portland this weekend, Portland, Oregon, the Siren that we did together. Yeah, we did it together. Brandy Posey opening.
Cool.
Happens to be in town.
Awesome.
And I was like, that's fantastic. And and Katie, I forget who else, but it's going to be an amazing show. Just one Friday, one Saturday, unless I sell out. And I think we all know how much I've always wanted to sell out. So feel free to come out, Portland, Oregon.
Yeah, please do. And I've been so like, my head's been so into this whole thing that I haven't even had time to be angry at bookers that aren't booking me, including Helium in Portland, where the guy goes, well, we'll give her a Tuesday as like a new headliner. I'm like, what?
Oh,
I'm
my
from
God.
San Francisco. Do you know how many times I've worked in Portland? It's like my second city, and Seattle is right behind it. Like,
Yeah,
that's
right.
all you do all the time is fucking drive to Portland or
And
the
Seattle.
surrounding area and do,
Yeah.
oh, it's so insulting and infuriating. Meanwhile,
Right.
I'm on a fucking thing with Hillary Clinton at the same time. I'm being told I'm a new headliner they want to try out on a Tuesday. Fuck you.
Entirely, and hard agree, because I love Portland so much that I
too.
talked to Shelley McClendon and I was like, is there a way? And she said, I will make there be a way. And so I love that about her. And so everybody, tell everybody you know who's a nerd and has a beard and lives in Portland. But that's very 20 years ago. But how about now? People still growing beards in Portland? What's happening? Still putting a bird on it?
Anyone who's a cop and likes to patrol downtown Portland. I think
if Antifa could come out, that'd be great. All my Antifa fans, where are you? Let's hear it.
Yeah.
And looking forward to it, because I just like Portland, you know. And then I'm opening for Brian next week in Solvang.
Oh,
which
pretty.
I think is a very fancy kites and fudge kind of tourist joint.
I think it's like a little, is it a little German town or a little Dutch town?
It's a Scandinavian, Dutch.
Scandinavian, yeah right.
It's I guess there's windmills and
lots of good cookies.
Cookies, sure. There's I'm on board. I had a couple of friends, couple of Brit friends. Some of them were mocking the Queen dying, and then one of them was really mad. She was like, the Queen was everything. And you're like, okay, you need a hobby. I love you dearly.
I do have a mom friend who's British. And I was like, oh, these jokes it's not, okay. She's not into it as much as I thought. I would think if someone was here in the States, they'd be, it is a level that we don't understand. And and it's so weird, like that Canada and New Zealand are like, they announced that Charles is their king. It's like, but he's not there. Like, what if you're gonna have a king, why don't you have a Canadian? It's like, I'm so used to Queen Elizabeth, and now that she's gone, the whole nature of monarchy and them being like a monarch in countries they visit every 4 years is ridiculous. I can't believe these countries still put up with it.
Yeah, I'm not a big fan of monarchy. But I will say that I have a buddy who is a writer, right? And he grew up in New Zealand, Australia, Canada, and the UK. And he said, Queen Elizabeth was a greater constant to me than my own parents. Wow. Every school, every government building had a picture. And he was like, so this was actually quite emotional for him.
I bet. I bet. I mean, she, they say 90% of the people on Earth were born after she became queen, which, so we're all used to her being there, in whether we pay attention or not.
Right, to whatever amount of attention. I never did. I'm not, I didn't, when the Diana thing, because we're of the age that the Diana worship is real. Yeah. And I didn't care. I was like, well, good for her. She cares about landmines. And that's as far as I got with her. But
so much more than that, Jackie. How embarrassing. But I mean, I remember, Carson used to make fun of the Queen and her little purse, and and same with Joan Rivers, and what did she have and all that kind of stuff. Like, she's just been like a punchline my entire life. Basically.
There's that. That is weird. Did she carry a purse? I think there are pictures of her with a purse.
Always with a purse. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
It's not like there's not a dude right next to, like a footman. What do you need? Like a lipstick or a chapstick or
Jack, you just open the door to a thousand Joan Rivers paintings.
Oh, okay. I'm thinking this is going to be a new 20 minutes, you guys. Do you know that the Queen carried a purse?
Yeah.
And Joan Rivers will come back from the dead and haunt me and say, "It's been covered. It's been covered, Jackie." And so that's my Joan Rivers impression.
Yeah, it was.
Let's never do it again. It is
probably not the way you intended, but yeah, Prince Charles. And I am I have residual Diana worship effect that I projected onto Harry and Meghan, and just seeing like the shit that Meghan has been putting up with online just for being there. She happened to accidentally be there. It's so bad.
Yeah, it's not cool. Try not to be horrible, everybody.
Yeah.
I'm working on it. You should too. You got some free time? Let's all try not to be horrible. Yeah. I was I have stories about other people. That's what I feel like I'm doing this entire. But I had a guy who he studied theology in college, and I was talking to him about it, and how he made peace with different things, and he was like, he really liked the prayers.
Did we lose Jackie, or am I lost?
Can you hear me,
yeah,
Kyle?
Both of you are coming through.
Yeah.
Okay. Did you lose me for a sec there, Laura?
I did, yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So but I was talking to him, I said, "Why did you study theology?" And he said that he loved the prayers. And I was like, "You love prayers?" He was like, yeah, like the old saints would write all these prayers. And I was like, "Why did you like prayers?" He's like, "It's the same reason why people read poetry. I never wake up thinking something beautiful. So when you read like a prayer," he's like, okay. I don't wake up and think to myself, if only I were a channel of peace. But but there's a prayer that says be a channel of peace. And he's like, if I read that prayer, I'm like, oh, well, maybe I could be a channel of peace. It made me laugh. Anyway,
oh, okay. So here's what, because
did you read off on me? Fair enough.
No. I was also like, I was like, wow, she has lots of friends that are comics, which is so weird. And you reference them. Like I normally
talk about them as their people. Yes.
Like Jeselnik had this, I just did the improv, and he was doing his set there a couple weeks ago. And it was like, I got a buddy who works for the FBI. And I'm like, whatever. The joke was funny, but it's just so funny how comics are like, I got a buddy who does this, so I can tell this joke. And because I'm convinced very few of us have friends outside of comedy. And the longer you do comedy, the less you can talk to other people about your life, and vice versa, I mean, maybe not vice versa. We're always interested, but they're sort of like
pre-lockdown. Okay. Pre-lockdown. For years, Andy and I would have parties, and he would invite his gaming buddies, and I would invite my comic friends, and they would break up into his gaming buddies and my comic friends.
Right.
And they would just talk to each other. And I was like, mingle, fucks. Hey, dum-dums, you have to learn
I went to one of
mingle.
those parties. I remember I think I saw Mark Maron just sitting in one of your chairs near the kitchen. Like, what's he doing here? And he's just hanging out by himself.
It was probably 15 years ago, and I think his very young girlfriend at the time was mingling. She was doing the heavy lifting of being social. Okay. It isn't easy, the social thing. It's enormously difficult. Where you're just like, I don't have a lot. I remember back when I first moved here, I'd go to these parties, and I would be like, so where are you from? It was 3 questions. It was, if I ask you what you're reading, mm-hmm. I'm done talking. I don't know. Please ask me something. Because it's not that, I mean, unless you're reading, I mean, I pray to God you're reading something, but I've run out of things to ask, right? I've asked you where you're from, what you do for a living. And then it's usually like, if something of those 2 things pop up, it can lead to real conversations. But 12 minutes feels a lot longer in real life than it does on stage. Let's just say that.
I always feel like, especially if I'm hanging out with a comic off stage, like, couldn't we have had this conversation at the club right before one of us went up? Like, why do we have to meet off premises in a third location?
Let's take another break.
Okay.
Oh my God.
We're back.
And we're back. So so the last couple of days have been a lot of very this dog just scratched his butt on the floor. Anyway, it's a great story. But here's you had Jarmy in a third location when I came over to visit. You're like, I put him in the son's room, and
yes,
she's not happy about it. Yeah.
No, and the amount of dirt that she tracks in is I'm like, why? I mean, I'm not a clean freak anyway, but what's the point of anything? Like, as soon as I clean the floor, then she 4 paws covered in dirt, just dust it all up.
And
again.
her paws are literally the size of my hand. She's a giant dog. Does she swim? Does she go in the pool at all?
Yeah, if we throw her in, she of course will swim. Yeah, she doesn't like it though. She doesn't enjoy it.
Oh, we had to take the cat. The cat needed dental work. Speaking of my old bit where you spend a giant pile of money to fix an animal. And literally the vet, because the cat's Chris's, right? So her cat and her dog have not yet been to our vet. And so the cat was furious. Oh my God, the cat, like last Tuesday, she just screamed. And I was like, you sound pissed off, right? Did you just realize that this is where you live now? What? And so she hid for like 3 days, and we couldn't get her an appointment at the vet. We didn't want to take her to urgent care. And, but Chris thought that it might be her teeth. And so we take her into the vet on Friday morning before I have to drive to San Diego. And it was, she had inflamed, she's on antibiotics. So tooth issues. So the vet is looking at the cat, and the vet's like, this cat is 15 years old. In a way that sounded like, well, you look like a kitten or whatever. Like, you look so good. Yeah. And, but Chris got the cat as a kitten. She found a brother, sister in the backyard without their mama and nursed them both to health. But the boy died pretty quick. But so she's had the cat since the cat was a kitten. And we go, yeah, the cat's 15. And the vet looks at Chris, looks at me and goes, this cat is 15 years old. And I'm like, yes, she just said that. And then Andy picked up the cat, and he said that the vet said to him, are you sure that this cat is 15 years old? So I don't know what that cat's doing, but she looks great, I guess. But
all right.
But she's got teeth issues.
I don't have any dog stories.
You don't have any? Didn't you have to take the dog to the vet a bunch a couple of months ago? Or
I guess, who fucking cares? I can barely talk about my son's hand. Oh, it wasn't a broken bone. It was like soft tissue tearing.
Ooh.
The amount of even just this interaction with the health insurance industry is so frustrating. I can't imagine what someone who has an actual real ongoing problem has to deal with, the constant filling out of forms, the repeating information, how many times do I got to write his fucking birthday down on the same form? Like, you're getting all of these forms, you need it on every single page. And why am I hand writing it? Why can't I do this on a website?
Right. Mm-hmm. And why can't you just bring it up? What is your, are you at like UCLA or USC or
yeah, it's the Writers Guild, so they're connected to UCLA. Yeah, but with my kid, just going to urgent care to get an X-ray and all that kind of stuff.
Do you go to St. Joseph's by any chance? I hear that's the best hospital in the valley.
Oh, really? Is it?
That's what I heard.
All right. Well, they're the ones that recommended my mom go into the rehab facility that gave her COVID. So maybe I would take 1 star off my review.
And that's where Maria had terrible surgery that they did not sew her upright. That was at St. Joe's too.
No.
I believe so, yeah. But that's what I heard is the best one.
Guys, don't go to the hospital in the valley. That's my recommendation. Just throw yourself at Cedar-Sinai or UCLA and get taken care of.
Where is there a hospital, a UCLA hospital in the Valley?
Yeah, no. The hospital's in
Westwood or something, right?
Yeah, that's where I had my breast reduction, and my son had his knee shed and all that kind of stuff. So,
and Andy's gone to the heart people there. So I want to get the good insurance. We looked into it. It turns out it's prohibitively expensive. So we will not.
Like UCLA insurance is how much? How much is it?
Would be Anthem. It'd be $4,000 a month for both of us.
Fuck.
Yeah.
Damn.
We don't have that.
Right.
And
right.
So, yeah. So we're gonna keep going to Kaiser, which is still not cheap. Andy pays it, but so I don't know offhand. But it's got to be less than half of that, which still seems expensive. But anyway, I don't know. But yeah, I also want to do jokes about, because her insurance, they had an orchid in the waiting room. They kept an orchid alive. I mean, when I go to Kaiser, it's plastic flowers all the way. And I just want to talk about the difference in care.
Yeah. I still have some credits. Like, I have Writers Guild credits that I built up over the years. So I'm in my credits now, but I'm like, when those, then I go to Cobra and then I'm on the open market. Fuck.
Oof. Yeah, you got to get that job. You got to get one of those jobs that you're hoping for.
Or sell something.
Sell something. Yeah. So it doesn't matter. It's I'm trying to write a pitch together to see if anybody would want to hear a pitch from me.
With Laura?
Yep, with Laura House.
That's great.
She's good at it. She works in that part of the industry as well.
Yeah.
That's and so she knows what the hell she's doing.
Yeah.
And Maria said that she would voice it if it were animated.
Yeah. The guy I'm doing our half-hour pitch with, we were supposed to do it a month ago, and then it got canceled and moved to after Edinburgh, so it's this Wednesday. So
okay, good luck.
Yeah, that'd be great.
That'd be great. And where
we
at,
things
Kyle?
Floating in the air. Things are hovering, but nothing's landed yet. That's all I can say.
But we all have a lot of balloons that we're working on. What was the scoop there, Kyle?
I said not yet. Almost there.
Oh my God.
That Dork Forest that everybody could listen to tomorrow. Just 41 minutes. 41 minutes. And it's a good talk about Godzilla, and Godzilla is his 6th favorite movie. But that was the thing he wanted to dork out about. I was like, well, what's your first favorite movie?
Jackie, do you ever have someone tell you what they're interested in, and then you decide to cancel your podcast because you can't bear to pretend that you like it?
No, I have not. I've only had one guy tell me, and it was he collected Nazi paraphernalia.
Whoa.
And I was like, we can try.
What club does he book, Jackie?
He's a Jewish comic, and it just didn't work. Okay.
Right.
It was unfortunate because he's a nice enough guy, obviously, but but it literally didn't parse. It didn't work. So, but other than that, I mean, I'll listen to anybody talk about anything for an hour. It's especially if they're talking. Like, this is the true.
This is painful.
True horrible.
Yeah.
Yes, I have to talk with the thing. You're all blurry in the back.
I don't want you to. Maybe that's my actual house. Maybe it's just blurry, Jackie.
It's we're gonna go to an ophthalmologist. Chris is getting. I wish I had other.
Oh my God, it's just doctor appointments now. It's old person doctor appointment. Oh my God, Jackie, I'm getting PTSD listening to you talk about your life. It's crazy.
Chris told me that she had PTS. And I was like, you need the D. You need the D, Chris.
Well, it's not a disorder to her.
Maybe
it's just it keeps her company, that stress.
Right. It's that's so funny. It's so hot.
It's awful.
Yep.